The following podcast is brought to you by Cast Content Media.
Hey guys, it's Ron Worley, your most imperfect host of Sons of Ditches. People are liars, thieves, addicts, and assholes. Some people change, and a few make a difference. But everyone has a story. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sons of Ditches. Today's going to be a good one. I've got my friend all the way back from high school, WHS student / athlete, played football with him, just ran into him again, been following his career, but just ran into him again at our 30th, if you can believe that, 30th high school reunion. Everybody, I want to introduce Jamie Bailey, country music legend now. Is it country music or is it, what's kind of music is it, Jamie?
Man, I don't know if we call it country or country rock.
Country rock.
We're calling it Yukon rock. Man, we're just having a blast with it. Started off kind of being country, but through my own rhythm and whatever you call it, rhythm, but through my own lyrics and the guys that I do in my music, it's more like a rock now. It's like a high beat country.
Yeah, I agree, man. Let's just talk about why we're on the subject. So, how long you been doing music now? Singing, anyways.
Last year.
Really? So there you go. I was going to say a couple years ago I heard about it, but it was last year when I saw your first video, or maybe it was a few months ago. I saw your first video, and it's cool because I'm like, that's Jamie. What the hell? This is who the hell would have known you were a singer, man?
Sorry, we got a plane flying over if you got noise, but
yeah. So everybody understand that you are in Alaska. We got a great view behind you. And whereabouts are you? Are you in Wasilla then?
Yeah, I'm right up on Kinnick, right at Settlers Bay.
Got it. Okay. So that's the view you see behind you guys. If you're listening, too bad for you, but if you're watching, it's beautiful behind him. Alaska's had some good weather.
Buzzing us.
Yeah, that's common in Alaska.
I can't hear anything. Give me a second. I'm deaf.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Never fails.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jamie, you've been doing messing with music for a year now, and you've gotten pretty damn good at it. Tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Well, we're still working towards getting good at it, but we're having a lot of fun. Sad old country story. Went through a breakup, trying to win the woman back, Had this song that I used to sing her all the time when we drive down the road in the trucks because we actually had a business together. So I by chance, of course, you go through all your mixed emotions when you get out of a relationship, try to find yourself again. I'll end up finding myself down at the Palmer Bar. I'm not much of a drinker by all means, but there. And as it stood, a man that owns a studio had walked right behind me, claiming that he could record music and that he was the guy to go to if you wanted to record your own song. So of course I reached out and grabbed him, and I'll be damned, 3 weeks later we had our first song.
Oh, that's badass. That's pretty random.
Yeah, and I never even sang on a microphone. That was the second time I ever sang on a microphone in my life.
Dude, that's
all throughout my life, just dirt digger, elastic guy, long hours and kind of bide the time, just use the imagination.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we got to apply it that it really became art. So it was pretty cool.
And that's it. I've seen you already, how much better you've gotten over this short period of time. And I think our community in Alaska, you're pretty well known. Everybody was quite interested when I was showing you your videos and whatnot. So good on you, man. Now, so that was a little bit of a healing time for you. That's how you kind of came through the breakup of the relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is, it's kind of coincidental that during that time period, I did a lot of reading and, soul search and research, that kind of stuff. and I just come across this little article about the Buddhism and emptiness.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you empty yourself out, you're not actually emptying yourself out. Kind of like breathing. If you guys are onto the breathe and the guru of that, sometimes it's not about how much breath you take in. It's about breathing all the bad stuff out. So you have room, man. And so I was kind of practicing some of that in my life when I met that guy at the studio and the music started happening. So I just finally let everything go and just kind of trusted life to take care of me and keep my own direction, of course. But I just bugged out here, guys. Hit the last. But regardless, it was about the time I let it all go, then it all started happening.
Yeah. So you just had to let go of all the BS in your life to be open to other shit. And I think that's probably a good lesson for most people is, if you're struggling in life, you've really got to work through it. And I call it the ring. We got to take shit to the ring. We got to battle it out and move on with life. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's where you're at. And it's wonderful. And now you have a new girlfriend, also named Jamie.
Yeah.
And she is a little cutie. She's awesome. She seems to love you very much. So that's good. Good for you. And so you own your own business too, correct?
I own Big Country Excavation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're kicking ass at that too. I hear your name's been, was floated around before I even saw you. So you must be doing something right over there.
Oh, we're trying. Every day is that effort.
Good for you. So take us back. We went to high school together. You and I. We played football. Were you? Was it sophomore, junior, senior, or were you there freshman year too?
Sophomore, junior, senior.
Yeah. Okay. See, I do remember other people's shit. So Jamie was.
Gave me the nose guard. It was just genius.
Yeah.
Hit, run, throw, catch, or kick, but he can stand there and hit hard. So
dude, and it was crazy because you didn't look like a nose guard. You were tall and skinnier because you were so tall, probably. But most of our linemen were chubby guys.
Yeah.
But you were always strong, and in your mind, and something struck me as odd when I first saw you again in Alaska this last summer or a couple weeks ago. You said, "Thanks for not making fun of me." And I just thought that stuck in my head because, there's students that go through that. And fortunately I wasn't one of them, but it sounds like we have a buddy in common that, tried to commit suicide, through bullying and whatnot. He was a little upset and twice tried to commit suicide. And so was that what high school was like for you too, or a form of that? Or
I think, all growth can be awkward, especially in my situation. My family's from Virginia, so they're kind of East Coast, real rednecks. I mean, father was born in 1940. I mean, he was born in the era of the Depression, so I mean, he was a hard ass.
Mm-hmm.
And like going through high school and stuff, they never quite understood that the social skills involved with it. The clothes you wear, how you talk. I mean, try to be a freshman in high school and ask the girl, "Hey, you want to go to the movie house?" Well, she probably doesn't. Or you want to go to the dance hall? It wasn't quite cool even back then, So it was kind of a learning, growing kind of thing. And comb over hair and cowboy shirts and tough skins really don't make you popular as a freshman.
Yeah.
And so, girls picked on me, Brandy Lane, and it wasn't because they thought I was cute. You know what I mean? It was kind of, but you learn.
Well, bro, you definitely far succeed. Screw them. You've gone far in life, and I think you're somebody that our youth can look up to. But also, fuck them, and who cares? I've seen where a lot of these guys are at now, and I think that's and probably you grew quicker and more healthily than a lot of them did. So fuck them.
I was very blessed. I really like to read books. Back when you met me, I was a bookworm.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even a full nerd. It was kind of sucked because be with Ben Staley and all the boys, but at the same time I was a physical because my my parents, of course, owned the excavation business, and we worked hard, shoveling, pulling, doing what we did every day after school. So, of course, that gave me the leanness and the strength, but I didn't really quite fit in. You know, wasn't quite a full nerd. Because that's how I felt about myself. I mean, people always see me, but you know, where you're quite a nerd, but you're not quite a jock either. So, you know,
You're right in between.
yeah, you just
Yeah.
gotta find. I
Dude,
read a lot of.
well, and you were a tough sumbitch. I think everybody knew that. Yeah, at least the guys I hung out with, we knew that you're an asset to the team, but also not somebody we'd really fuck with. You know, we weren't tight enough to know this, you know, your background or anything, but the way you presented yourself, your look, you were pretty, you know, you're a pretty tough dude. So you know, I think it's all in our brains, on what we think about ourselves. Anyways, so you tell me how this happened, but you told me a story about becoming the tough man, winning the tough man contest, a few of them. You're a champion, if I remember right.
Yeah. Damn bugs. Got out of high school, 190 pounds. Kind of a funny story, you know. Another thing I'd never done before, kind of like the singing.
Yeah.
Box. I mean, you remember back in school, and I got in quite a few fights in high school, and it wasn't because I wanted to fight. Most time it was my own emotional problems, or whatever you want to call that, not being stable, not being secure. So when somebody would say something, of course, I'd be defensive, and you know, like I said, the self-perception of how you see yourself versus how everybody else sees yourself, and
Yeah.
a few times they just outright picked it themselves, and I gave it to them. And like you said, I was kind of surprising because I didn't look like much, but I did a lot. And you know, it can always be in your favor. But got into the boxing. We were 19, and you're supposed to be 21 in the state of Alaska.
Okay.
Who's the Alaskan assassin, who went on to be a great professional fighter before his untimely death. He was actually he'd lost to Klitschko, and he had a rematch planned for Klitschko just before his passing. He was 26-1-1, and he could have been the next. Regardless, this is when we got started, and I think he was 20, I was 19, and he went and signed up for his first tough man contest. He didn't quite win the first one, but man, they seen what he was, and he was one big tough meaty son of a bitch. He was all of it, and he started fighting at the Pines clubs. Of course, we're broke, we're kids. I'm cutting wood all winter. What better thing to do than to go have a boxing match? Well,
Yeah.
they at the Pines Club, they had a place called the Pinettes right next door, and that was a 18 and over strip joint. So of course we're 19, we can go to that. Well, the doors associating that with the Pines Club were just one door. You just walk through the door. So our boxing coach / referee would sneak in. Say nonetheless, first 11 fights I had were knockouts. I was addicted. Time I did it. Never had boxing gloves on before my life. Never been in a confined or controlled arena where you didn't have to worry about the true outcome, you know, whether, you know, like in a street fight or real life, how they'll just keep pounding you when you go down. In boxing, it was a good place to let out your aggressions and still be in a somewhat safe environment.
Sure.
You drop stops, you know, you can quit anytime you want.
Yeah.
You know, yourself at all times. It was a good thing for me. So my first 11 fights were by knockout. And honestly, man, I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. I look back at those videos and I would have killed me. I don't know how I was taking on 40-year-old men. It all had to do with being in great shape.
Yeah.
And I was fast for a little white boy. I look back at those videos and man, I was doing spin and eye-hand coordination that I wish I could do now. I wish I had that. Hit them twice before they could raise their hand. Wasn't hitting them hard. I wasn't hitting them correctly, but I knew how to get out of the way. And yeah, we went on from there. I actually ended up winning my first state Alaska Tough Man when I was 20. Like I say, you're supposed to be 21 in the state of Alaska. So what I ended up doing for my Tough Man when it was time, we had the old Alaska license.
Yeah.
Well, I took a pin and I took over the 3 because I was born in 1973 and made it into a 0. Rubbed it a little bit, made it a 0, and I relaminated it. Green, sir. It was beautiful. People patting you on the back. Oh, you're only 21. You're going to do good. On, here we go. So when my first one was, I was 20. I won my second one and say the last one I was 23. And then I went on to fight in the World Toughman Championship Series. My buddy Cody got killed in a bar. It's a long story there. Premature death. Oh, here comes another plane. Anyway, ended up just having a midlife crisis at 27. I had many of those in my 20s, but had another midlife crisis at 27. Packed up all my stuff, left the state of Alaska in like 4 days. 4.5 days later, I'm in Bay City. And you got to understand, I let myself go, belly hanging over my belt. I looked horrible, but I was so mindset that I was gonna win the World Toughman. It didn't matter what it cost. In fact, I convinced myself not to say if I win the World Toughman, it's when I win the World Toughman, trying to get those power things going on through there. Well, I showed up in Bay City to Art Door, who was the original founder of the Toughman contest. If you guys ever watched the movie Tough Enough, the promoter that's there, that's a real life man. And
Really?
his personality better. I really like Art Door. Not saying anything about him, but a promoter that is willing to do anything to get asses in the seats. That is who Art Door is. When I was down, $171 million, not just from the Toughman. He also had door demolition. He was a businessman. He was a very shrewd, smart, maybe not always ethical businessman. Walked down. I drove down there, drove right up to the place because I'd been down there with Cody before. And he was walking out of his office the same time I walked up, and he recognized me because I was Cody's friend. He said, Jamie, what you doing down here? I said, sir, I'm here to win your World Toughman. And he looked me up and down, see my belly hanging over my gut. He said, well, you're going to have to qualify, and that's in a month. Got a big smile on his face. He says, I'll see you there, and got in his Jaguar and drove away. Like I said, when you've decided something, there's no turning back. I mean, I traveled halfway across the United States to do something. There ain't no life putting her try to do it. So I remember being so sore for those first 2 weeks. To drink water, I would take both hands and I would try to put my face towards it so I could get up because I was so bad. In fact, I called my workouts my morning prayers because I would do my calisthenics. And I would do it in such a point that would hurt so bad that I would sit there and I would just rock back and forth and say, dear God, please make it stop hurting so I can do some more. I mean, I just went brainwashed myself, just went ballistic. Say none the least, Bay City Toughman comes around. Lo and behold, it's nationally televised. Oh boy, if that wasn't some added pressure. So not only have you traveled all the way across the United States on a fluke dream, random, sporadic, now everyone back home is going to get to see you. Wow, no pressure there. I won my first night, and on the first night we made some friends there, and there were some young girls, nothing involved, some 18, 19-year-old girls that had signs for me because they were rooting on the Alaskan that had come down. So this guy had caused a little dissent some of the other fighters, and what that ended up doing, like I say, with the irritation with other fighters, they didn't like me. And all them Bay City boys. And there's one particular one, he ballooned up with steroids. He even admitted to it later, and I'll get to that part of the story. He went from like 170 to 195 because he wanted. Sorry guys, business is calm, but he wanted to win the heavyweight championship at Bay City. Won my first night, and I was walking by him. I could hear him talking to the people he was speaking with. He says, I can't wait to get me a piece of Alaska. I'm going to get me that. We're going to send him home where he belongs. You got to be humble. I'm scared. I'm excited. Now I'm pissed. Without controlling those emotions, you don't know what's going to happen. Say none less. Second night is the actual televised night. So they got ring girls, FX guys all over the place, lights, cameras. They had 2 big tunnels that you would run down. So each fighter would go to their their tunnel, and when they call their name, they run out and get into the ring to their appropriate corners. My turn came. Man, they didn't call no other fighter. I'm like, your mind's already where you're supposed to be on fight, and now there's this weird oddity thing going on there. Like, what's going on? Where's the guy on fight? They call me up there, Jamie. You're just going out there, okay? They call my name, and I start running through. And you got to say, you're coming through, and there's a bunch of smoke and lights and cameras, and I mean the whole Coliseum was just full of people. I mean, just roaring. And I'm coming through there. The ring goes, oh yeah. And there was this guy, and he said, Alaska, you suck, and he's just running his mouth. And I've never been a guy that punches first. I've never been the kind of guy that instigates a fight. I did once when I was a teenager, got my butt whipped, well deserved, regardless. Man, I reached out and I popped it. Boom. I was so scared. Oh my God, I just smacked that guy in the. They're gonna kick me out of here. I'm gonna have to go home with nothing, not even be able to fight. Saying on the lease, the security grabbed him. I go up to the ring, screw it, put my hands up, the crowd goes nuts. Bird calls him up and says, hey, you want to fight? Come on up here, we'll fight. That guy gets in the ring. I end up knocking him out in the second round. The crowd went nuts. That FX episode probably reran like 15, 20 times.
That's awesome.
It was 2 years of me coming back home and trying to live it down because there's the favorite guy, I hate the guy in the audience. And what had happened, Art Dorr, very, very intelligent man, very shrewd promoter, had put the fighter that I was supposed to fight in the audience to pick a fight. He still swears to this day that somebody told me, because he would have never expected me to reach out and pop him. It just happened like that. He swore that somebody had to tell you, Jamie, you're not the kind of guy to reach out and get somebody. But gold, and I ended up, here's further to this story. Remember, can't wait to give me a piece of Alaska. Well, yeah. Got him a piece. It was, and this is looking back with cockiness, not at the time cockiness, because we all know in a heartbeat, life can change, and you can go from hero to zero in a breath. Yep. As it stood, I ended up beating him in the final round. He had a rough fight before, so had I, without a doubt. But in the beginning of the second round, I broke his jaw. And
damn,
I piece later, and he was the nicest guy. He was a security guy, when the guard guys, he had his big guard dogs on. But he was the sweetest, nicest guy. Took me out to lunch, and for some reason, he was only about 165 pounds because he had been drinking through a straw for 6 weeks. Karma's one of the things you ask for an ass whooping, you're gonna get it. So
yeah.
Step true, and just be contained in yourself. Keep your Tao in check. Yeah. Someone's gonna take it.
Yep. No, it's true, man. It's true. You see karma happen to people all over the place, and you just know it's coming when they're out acting like assholes.
Oh yeah, karma. Believe in karma. I also believe in karma. I mean, what I was told karma is like if you go across the ground, you see a stick and you kick it, and it flies back and hits you right in the face. It's instant. It's instant karma. So
yeah,
just kind of karma. Yeah, it harmed you. It's kind of the words, but so I went on from there. That was televised. Man, Bay City took me in. It was awesome for an experience for a guy at my age. I remember the week before the actual World Tough Man, which was also held in Bay City that year. Man, I got meals bought for me. I was in the newspaper more than the president. They took me in. They treated me so good. Had a beautiful girlfriend. She was actually ended up being in a televised Showtime thing of the 7 sexiest women in Michigan. That was just as she was. So here I went from Alaska. Nobody I rose up socially by all means to a superhero in my life anyway. Right. In my head, amazing. But we went on from the Bay City. We went to the elimination tournaments down in Mississippi. I won there. That was exactly like the Tough Enough movie. There's a big guy. If you guys have ever watched the Tough Enough movie for us older fellas, there's the big bald guy that comes at you and doesn't stop. Well, my big bald guy was called the Chicago Prince. And let me tell you what, boys, it don't matter what kind of an athlete you are. It doesn't matter how hard you hit some people, they're not going to turn off. And I was hitting that man so hard that I was hurting my knuckles through 16-ounce gloves, and he did not stop. He just kept. And something to really give you some humility. Second round, I'm getting to get cocky. I'm just nailing this guy. He's kind of slow. He's awkward. Well, man, I stuck my head out a little too far, and he popped me with my glove upside my head, and the whole world went, whoa, my knee buckled. He almost knocked me flat. Stayed on the leaf. Jamie moved a little quicker after that. Stayed out of his reach. Yeah, we don't want none of that. That is a man I would never, ever want to fight in a street fight. He said he was going to kick my ass. I would just get on my knees and say, hey, man, how much money you want? I'm sorry. This isn't going to go well for me. What can I do to make this up to you? Because now after the fight, he didn't even know what city he was in. Bless his heart. Damage he got because we risk ourselves in aggressive sports. And he didn't even know what city he was in. But, man, scary man. Scary man.
Yeah.
He was something. He was a monster. Yeah,
that's awesome.
There was no turning that guy off. But won the elimination tournament. Those 2 fights, 2 different nights. Came back to Bay City. Did my training, all the stuff that we did for the World Toughman that year. A week and a half and this is not an excuse for my performance at the World Toughman by any means. I caught walking pneumonia. I could barely breathe. And still met a lot of really cool people. I ended up getting quarterfinalists. Lost to a guy named Hardbody Harrison, wrestler.
Yeah.
He was a pretty guy because, man, guys, I was never into judo or any of that crap, but I always knew about physical leverage. My life is digging dirt, laying pipe, whatever you're doing, splitting wood. It's always been about physical leverage and the momentum of things, the physics. I could tie somebody up. And some about box, I could just drop my hip, and if they dropped with me, I could just launch their ass. So if I was losing and we tied up, man, you're going on the ground. If you slip your foot one time, you're going on the ground. And I get all that time to rest and catch my breath, buddy. Get your butt up, and dust off your gloves, starts counting for us. So I went to throw this guy, Hardbody Harrison, and he was only 185 pounds. That's how I know he was on something. That man, I went, and he didn't move. That was done. He went on and knocked out all of his opponents, minus me. I lost by split decision. And that was all she wrote. I came home, my daughter was born, and I never fought again.
Yeah. So is the daughter born? Is that the reason you never fought again, or is that just time to hang it up?
You know, you reach a point in your life when you know you've done your best. You know, you put all that. It wasn't worth it. I seen too many fighters down there by going through the Detroit and the Michigan and the Tri-City area that I seen what happened to the boxers that pushed it too far, pushed it too much. I mean, look at our great Muhammad Ali. Bless his heart. What a magical athlete. But it wasn't until he came back and tried to push himself to be something he wasn't at the time. So it was best for me just to save the rest of the brains that I had left. And my daughter was born. I wasn't going to risk that. You know, it just kind of gave me a different reason.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Makes you realize there's a God there. I got one song about that. You listen to it, my track list. And, you know, when you know there's in your own eyes.
Yeah, you bet, man.
Yeah.
That's those daughters, man, they melt you, right off the bat. So, and I'm gonna try and grab one of your songs. You tell me which one you want, and I'll play it over the top of this during the show. If not, I'll have some links to it and whatnot. But maybe even everything you got is fine with me. But yeah, you let me know.
Yeah, I don't know, I got 7 or 8 of them out now. 7. We're gonna release the one I just sent you last night.
Yeah.
And guys, I mean, I still do not like my voice. Reason other people do. I'm having a blast. I'm just having a blast with this. So, and I've always been and I think we finally figured out why I'm able to make lyrics so well is because I can't hear crap. I've been my whole life. We actually went to this backyard barbecue with some famous guy that's up there singing. Good looking, by the way, bald, goatee, type. But I can't hear him. I mean, with the noise of the crowd, I'm feeling a little loose. I've been, with my friends down there. I just start singing my own verses. And that law of energy with the people around you. I noticed the people me more they were him, and that night I could have got up on stage. You play your song. I got some words for it. You know,
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. So you wrote all your own songs. Those are all yours. Wow, man. That's incredible. Because it really, honestly, especially this last one I just heard, it's crazy the stuff you come up with, like, and you make it rhyme. And
it's we called it Tuned Up on Saturday night. We called Tuned Up.
yeah.
It started off with there's another plane. Started off with the F-bomb, of course, because I was cleaning out my shop one night, and you guys ever, not trying to pour alcohol, but Terramana tequila is the smoothest tequila I've ever drank in my life. I'm not really much of an alcohol kind of guy, but that night, down, I'm tired, took like 3 shots of tequila, walked across the shop. I was feeling good and getting tuned up on a Saturday night. And from the time together, I had that entire song.
That's awesome.
I didn't need to be down there in that shop. So
yeah.
And I met some guys from Nashville. His name's Aaron Knight. He has AOK Productions, and he actually made me the music for this new song. I sent him a version because I work with Felicity Studios out of Anchorage, which Tim Felicity, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's the most talented musician I've ever met in my life. I can tell him the bass beat because I don't play any instruments. So I'm at the mercy of whoever's playing. I'll tell them, I want to go bum, 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 and they do it. I mean, it's just like, they make it better. I mean, it's not just me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the blessings of all these other men that are helping me out, because they believe in me, they like it, and that energy grows when you put it together. And the songs just keep getting better and better. We're actually working on one, which, man, if I can get it out there, if I can get it promoted, a lot of people are not going to like me because of it. Because you're kids and teenagers saying, want to get my on. The way the hook is in it, I think it's going to be very addicting for those who do hear it and like to dance. And I don't even know how to tell you. You'll be able to recognize it because if you guys ever listen to TikTok and how that, can I get a, oh yeah. I have tried and I refuse. I will never do that on a recording because I suck. I can't get my voice up that high, but I got a buddy that does it so well. So we're going to start the whole song off with that.
Oh, so nice.
Hear that coming? Can I get a,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I sound like a abused moose or something, man. It just don't even.
Shit.
And I'm 48 years old. I've done a lot of different things, but man, like I was telling you about the Buddhism thing, I'm not a Buddhist. I don't read religion. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
Emptying yourself out, breathing out the bad air. You can breathe in the good stuff. That's where it's at. It's not about expanding your lungs. It's about using your lungs. Use what you things that are around you. There's magic. You just gotta believe. You gotta jump. I didn't know I could do it. Right.
That's right. Yeah, you've got life by the balls, my friend. I mean, that's exactly.
Never say that because that'd be a lesson to remember. By the time you talk Buddhism, who knows what had happened?
Yeah. Well, no, and what I mean by that is that you've tried a lot of things. You've done what you wanted to do, and you're a very caring man. You're, the love is there. I can tell right when I saw you again that you care about some things in life, and I think that's what we need to be.
Back in the day, you always treated me well. You're a great athlete, man. You and Raul and Tommy Lincoln, back at Russell High School, man. You guys were the team. You guys, I know we're all team, it's collective, but you guys were the star athletes. You guys were amazing. You're equal. You made me feel like I had your respect, and you'll always have mine.
Wow, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, and we'll stay in touch now. Tell me whatever music or send me some links, man. We're going to post it up here. Try and get this out for you, bro.
And I don't know if this will work in your podcast, but right now I'm in this competition to get in the Hollywood Bowl. And so far I'm in first place in my group.
Nice.
It's like 6-week voting off thing, but man, the more votes I can get, can you imagine a poor guy from Alaska going down and seeing at the Hollywood Bowl opening for Kane Brown or whoever it might be? That would, for me, would be a dream come true. That's another thing about music. A little story I missed out. I have never traveled to hear a musician until 2 years ago before the COVID hit. I had heard Kane Brown, and I'd only heard him like 3 months before I actually bought this ticket. Because with my hearing the way it is, certain people, I just can't hear him. And his voice stuck out so clear. And the song that he was singing was so heartfelt for that time in my life. Talk about bromance. That man may never meet me, but man, he gave me direction. That music that he provided was powerful. So we actually flew to LA, went to Staples Coliseum, watched Kane Brown live. And man, if I could have got on that stage, I would have done anything to get up there and just feel that energy, because the Coliseum was full and all that energy was just coming to him. And it was powerful. I mean, talk about the nature of things. Here you got this kid that he faced a lot of racism when he first got started because of his ethnicity and mixed blood or whatever. I don't believe in mixed blood. We are what we're all humans. You shit what we are. You be green. Depends what kind of man you are, woman you are. It don't matter. But regardless, for him to go through all these things and yet keep his own person, because there's Granger out there and all these other guys opening for him. And here's this kid walking out with a chain hanging down around his hips, skinny jeans, a flat bill, sitting there, his little earrings and all this stuff. Not my style. But when that kid opened his mouth, he was more country than anybody had heard. He reminded me of Johnny Cash. I mean, just pure and unadulterated. Here I am, here in my heart, because he's country. He's a great artist.
Wow.
That's for sure.
Yeah, good.
I was thinking of his voice, not mine. Funny feeling when we went to LA, in fact, I was telling the girls, man, I just have a funny feeling we're going to meet him. I just want him to hear the first lyrics. I know he would sound so good singing his voice. But they're singing that song rather.
Yeah.
It happened, of course, but I have a funny feeling it might. It's got this sneaking suspicion that you got to get your instincts, and sometimes those fleeting thoughts are premonitions. And I ain't gonna get all the weird energy there. You can't count on it.
Right.
I'll never predict the future or tell you what lotto's gonna win it, but maybe it's not a good day to go out. Maybe you probably should stay home. It's just
everybody get on my you can find his link to the contest on my Facebook page, Ronald L. Worley II. I posted it up there and on my personal page. So you guys go to that and give him a like, a share, a listen, all that good stuff. Get him to the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah. That I'll have tears streaming down my eyes. I'll sing my heart out just one time, just to be heard. That's cool. If any of the energy, if any of the feeling, of the emotions that I feel when I'm writing the lyrics, if I never get it to be shared, that's what I'm after. I want to not only inspire people, I want to touch their hearts with just good old common sense and a common felt theme. But I want something that's going to outlast my lifetime.
Yeah.
So when I'll still be rocking on, that's what I want.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Keep the song.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. That's your legacy, and it's going to go on far beyond you, and your daughter will have something to look forward to. And you have 2 kids or just your daughter?
I have a couple stepdaughters that I consider my own.
Okay.
So I got Akira.
Okay. So you got someone to leave stuff to and to leave your songs to. They'll far outlast you, but that's what we want as men, right?
Our own immortality.
There you go. Yeah, I love it, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on, Jamie. That was a badass story. I wish you all the best, dude, and definitely we'll get you promoted out there off of here. And anybody out there that wants to get one of Jamie's songs, you give me a holler. We'll get after it. I'll get you his links. We'll post them up. Hopefully my producers can hear this. So please post up the links for us. We'll get it done. Jamie, I appreciate you so much, man.
there's any message that I can tell anybody out there as far as young men coming up, because I watch some of your stuff and I know it's just a lot about inspiration, is think, make good choices, follow your heart, and don't be scared to jump. What's the worst can happen? You fail. That's what's going to happen if you don't try.
Yep.
Life is, that's the only way you find success. If you don't try and you don't fail, how do you know what you're good at?
Amen.
I really appreciate you having me on, Ron. It's an honor.
Yeah. Honor's all mine, man. Thank you so much. And guys, listen to that. He's exactly right on. You got to say, fuck it and try it. And you got to go out and do some things in the world. But you use your mind, have great choice, make great choices. Don't use emotion to make those choices. Jamie, thanks so much, my man.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you for tuning in to Sons of Ditches. For more information, go to my website, ronworley.com, and my YouTube channel, Sons of Ditches. Facebook, Ron L. Worley, or Instagram at Ronald L. Worley II.